What if the greatest monster you ever fought wore your neighbor's face, smiled like an old friend, and asked why you still bleed for a world that branded you a criminal the moment you saved it? Imagine the salty breeze off the harbor mixing with the sweet smoke of street vendors, the warm press of a crowded market against your skin, the sudden metallic tang of blood cutting through laughter. That is the air of Episode 7, Fein Day Off at Port City Yoff, which landed on Crunchyroll on February 19, 2026. We are past the brutal fortress sieges of the first arc. Now the penal hero Unit 9004 steps into the quiet trap of everyday life, where the real war hides behind human smiles. You feel the hook sink before the opening song ends. This is not another roar of dragon fire against endless hordes. This is the moment the story stops shouting about monsters and starts whispering, what if the monsters learn to look just like us? After the bloody defense of Mured Fortress, Xylo Forbarts and his penal squad earn a rare day off in the bustling port city of Yoff. Their real job: keep the young goddess Tiarita safe while drawing out the assassins who want her dead. Old faces return, new allies arrive with fire-breathing dragons, and a simple market stroll turns into a nightmare when humans, not beasts, raise their blades. From the hospital bed of Episode 6, where Xylo first heard the word coexisters, we slide straight into the heart of a city that feels safer than the front lines, until it doesn't. The episode ends with the team bloodied, a powerful new threat revealed, and the question hanging like sea fog: how do you fight an enemy who looks exactly like the people you swore to protect? Episode 7 is the perfect pivot. The first 6 episodes hammered us with siege warfare and endless waves of demon blight. Here the pacing slows to a heartbeat you can feel in your throat, slice of life warmth sliced open by sudden violence. The Fein Day Off is no filler. It is the trap that pulls the story from brute survival into something sharper: civil war inside humanity itself. Fans on Reddit and AniList have been asking the same cloudy questions since Episode 4. Why would humans ever help the demon blight? Why does the temple hate Tiarita? How can a goddess killer like Xylo still care about protecting anyone? The light novel Sentenced to be a Hero, the prison records of penal hero Unit 9004, written by Rocket Shokai, answers clearly in volumes 2 and 3, which the anime now adapts with surgical care. The 59th demon blight, Spriggon, does not just command monsters, he wears human skin. Higher-ranked demon blights can perfectly mimic or possess people, turning fear into sympathy and creating the coexisters movement from the inside. The temple's heretics reject Tiarita because she is a living goddess who chose a criminal as her partner, threatening centuries of control. Episode 7 finally shows us the mechanism. The enemy does not need to break the walls when it can walk through the front gate wearing your fiancé's smile. No more vague lore. We understand now why the penal heroes are not just cannon fodder. They are the only ones disposable enough to fight both the blight outside and the betrayal inside. Xylo, voiced by Yohei Azakami in Japanese, carries the episode on his scarred shoulders. His quiet conversation with his ex-fiancée Frenzy Mastabolt is devastating. The man who once had a future now stands marked as less than human, yet he still reaches for Tiarita's head in the gentlest pat you will see all season. That single touch says everything his stoic face refuses to. Tiarita blooms here, playful in the market, then steel hard when she hesitates to strike a human foe. Kivia drops her tough shell for one blushing moment when Xylo compliments her, showing the girl beneath the penal armor. Newcomer Jace Parteract, the cocky dragoon, crashes in like fresh wind, his bond with his dragon nearly reminding us that not every partnership in this world is born from chains. Every choice feels earned. Every line of dialogue peels back another layer of wound. This episode asks the hardest question of all. If the hero title is the worst punishment in the world, what does that make the people who cheer while you bleed? Power is not the sword. It is the choice to keep swinging when the world calls you monster for it. Morality cracks open when the enemy looks like your neighbor. Sacrifice tastes like street food turning to ash in your mouth. Hope versus despair plays out in a single headpat that says, I will keep you safe even if it costs me the last piece of my old life. You feel it in your chest like the weight of every criminal who was ever told their life only matters when it ends in someone else's war. Port City Yoff is alive. Crowded markets, sea salt on the wind, elegant architecture hiding narrow alleys perfect for ambushes. It enriches the universe by showing that the real front line is not the fortress wall but the crowded street where anyone can be the next knife. The rules of demon blights expand. They They do not only corrupt land, they corrupt hearts. The anime makes the LN's lore feel lived in, not lectured. The script is sharp as a hidden blade. When Frenzy calls Xylo my fiancé, and he answers with the quiet pain of a man who knows he will never be allowed to marry, the line lands like a punch you did not see coming. The market chatter feels real. The sudden silence before the attack feels colder than any monster roar. You will replay the headpat scene and hear your own heartbeat in the pause afterward. Art director Yusuke Watanabe paints you off in warm golden sunlight and deep harbor blues that make the blood stand out like ink on silk. Studio Kai's animation is fluid and intimate, tight, claustrophobic fights in alleyways where every sword swing feels personal. Chief animation director work shines in the small moments. The way Tierida's hair moves in the sea breeze, the tremor in Xylo's hand when he lowers his blade against a human foe. The beauty here is not pretty, it is fragile, and that is what makes it hurt. Director Hiroyuki Takashima, with series composition by Kenta Ohara, masters the switch from wide sunny market shots to sudden close-ups of eyes widening in betrayal. The editing rhythm is a masterclass. Slow, breathing scenes of shopping cut brutally into fast, brutal combat. You are there in the crowd, then yanked into the fight like you just got grabbed by the collar. The OST becomes another character. Light, cheerful port town music dances around you, then drops into chilling silence the moment steel leaves sheaths. The dragon roar of Neely hits like thunder you feel in your ribs. Silence during Xylo's quiet talk with Frenzy speaks louder than any explosion. Yohei Azukami as Xylo Forbarts delivers the soul of the episode. His voice low and steady until it cracks just enough to show the man beneath the criminal brand. The tremor when he says he cannot marry is raw, real, unforgettable. Emi Lo, English, and Mayu Izuka, Japanese, give Tiorita a brightness that makes every headpat feel like sunlight. Dawn M. Bennett as Kivia nails the blush in her voice so perfectly you can see her cheeks redden that I finished the episode with my hand still hovering over the pause button, throat tight, thinking about every person who was ever punished for doing the right thing. This episode does not just entertain. It reaches into your chest and asks what you would do if the person you loved most asked you to choose between them and the world. The climax is not the dragon fire or the jaw-ripping brutality. Yes, it gets that raw. It is the quiet moment when Xylo realizes the enemy has been walking beside him all along, wearing a human face. It is the collision of every "I thought we were safe" we have ever felt. It is hope and horror holding hands in the same crowded street. You will carry that feeling like salt on your skin long after the credits roll. Some may say the slice of life opening feels too light after the heavy fortress arc, or that the sudden shift to human enemies arrives fast. They are not wrong, but I see it as deliberate. Real life hands you laughter right before it hands you the knife. The slow start is the calm before the storm that makes the storm hit harder. The episode trusts us to feel the whiplash, and we do. Episode 7 is not flawless. It is fearless. It is the moment sentenced to be a hero stops being just another dark fantasy, and becomes a mirror held up to every society that calls its protectors monsters. So close your eyes for a second. Smell the sea salt and grilled street food. Feel the warm press of the crowd. Hear the laughter that can turn to screams in a single heartbeat. Then open Crunchyroll, because Spriggan is already walking among us. And the penal heroes are the only ones still willing to draw the line in the sand, even when the sand is soaked in blood that looks just like our own. The question is no longer, will you watch? It is, how long can you pretend the monsters are only outside the walls? See you in Port City off. The day off is over. The real fight has just begun.